Good afternoon, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the 8th day of July 2024. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope everyone in your family, including yourself, is safe and healthy. And I hope that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are out here saving lives. And those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who actually profit from these things. And double curses on the perverts that create the demand for all of these things. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Okay, today I'm going to discuss a concern that I have. Right now, I'm concerned about Precious Achiuwa. I've been talking about him for several videos. And now here we are on the 8th of July. Free agency is pretty much done. Signings are taking place. And Precious Achiuwa is not signed. Now, the thing is that bothers me about this is that with respect to free agents, a whole bunch of players have been signed. I'm looking at Spot Rack. 75 players have been signed to contracts. Many of them are not as good, in my view, as Precious Achiuwa. And so I'm just concerned because that means something. There is no coincidences with the Knicks, especially with the Don and his crew. There's something going on. Now, when I look at, and somebody, actually, I got to give props because somebody did mention this. I didn't like to hear it, but I said to that person, in fact, let me just see where I can find him so I can give him his props. But I said to that person that suggested this to me, maybe, but we shall see, because I didn't like to hear it, but I couldn't say it wasn't going to happen. Okay. So I'm looking at, first, let's go over the Knicks situation. Right now, the Knicks made deals so that they're under the first apron. They're under the first apron and they're under the second apron. They have about $16 million, $17 million to play with under the second apron. Okay. And so they're limited in what they can do. Now, one of the reasons they got under both aprons is because they included, as we know, in the Mikal Bridges trade, 2 players. And the reason that was important is because by league rules, in order to get to where they are, they had to send out more money than they took in. So by taking in Mikal Bridges, okay, and taking in Diop, they sent out Bodega, and they sent out Shake Milton, sign and trade, sent out Shake Milton, and sent out Mamadi, I can't get his name. Mamadi, I forgot his name. But they sent out those 2 players. In total, it was more going out than was coming in. Okay. So with respect to Precious, to me, there's only 2 things that could be happening here. There's only 2 things. Either they sign him and bring him back, which is my hope, or they sign and trade him. If they were to sign and trade Precious, and this is important, they have to be sending out more than they're taking back. Okay? So there's 2 names that are really left. Of all the names out there for free agency, there are really 2 names that we have been hearing. One of them is Kessler, Walter Kessler, and the other one is Nick Richards. And in both of those cases, see, it has to fit for all parties. People that are in Knicks Nation have a habit of trying to see what only fits for the Knicks. And some of the suggestions are ridiculous because you're not looking at it from both parties. You're dealing with Danny Ainge in Utah, and you're dealing with the Charlotte Hornets on one side, right? So whatever you do has to fit three parties. It has to fit either Utah and the Knicks and Precious, or it has to fit Charlotte and the Knicks and Precious. So you have to fit three parties. There are, and Ian Begley has said, there are suitors lined up for Precious that are interested in him, but he has not signed any contract anywhere. Okay? So when you're looking at, say, Walter Kessler, so Walter Kessler is about $3 million. That's his salary. So that means the Knicks would have to send out more than $3 million to Utah to get Walter Kessler. They don't right now have any other assets that they're going to send out. They've already stated, Ian Begley has already said there's no appetite to trade Deuce McBride. So don't come on my channel talking about they're going to trade Deuce. They're not. They're not trading anybody in their current rotation. The only player that's out there still is Precious. That's it. Now, without Precious, they have a hole in the rotation at center. Jericho Sims, as we've seen on Twitter, is working his tail off. That means, I'm not saying Jericho wouldn't be working on his game all the time. He is. But there seems to be a little bit more urgency now. So I don't know where this fits in. Is Jericho going to be the backup five? I don't know. But something is definitely happening. Okay? And I feel like we're going to know what it is soon. I thought we'd know what it is by this weekend. So either it's a sign and trade with Charlotte for Nick Richards. Nick Richards makes $5 million. And Precious would fit in Charlotte. He would get playing time. He's defense. He's upside. You know, and his 24 going on 25. He fits the timeline of their rebuild. All of that. So he would fit in Charlotte. They could use him. He would get his playing time, and the Knicks could sign him something a little north of $5 million and send out more than they take in. Nick Richards is a roughneck. He fits what we need, and again, his price fits what we need, and for what they're doing in Charlotte, if they're going to rebuild, I mean, they just paid Miles Bridges $75 million over 3 years. So I don't know how much of a rebuild they're doing, but Miles Bridges is 26 years old. They got Grant Williams there. He's 26 years old. They just got Josh Green. He's 24 years old. Brandon Miller, of course, is 22. Those are the young guys they got. They just got 19-year-old guy. I can't even say his name, but they got Nick Smith Jr. They got a bunch of young pieces. Whereas Nick Richards is 27, so he's really a little above the timeline. Precious would be more in line with their timeline. So that could be a possibility. And of course, we have Utah. And again, we know, come on, you know who you're dealing with in Utah. So I don't know the appetite. Danny Ainge plays games, man. And he's one of these guys that's always got to win the trade. When you got a guy that always has to win the trade, you can't always do business with him. That's why we didn't do any business with him on Donovan Mitchell, among other reasons. But he always has to win the trade. Like, he's got to beat you. And the Knicks are, if you've noticed, let's take the OG trade, for example. OG and Precious for RJ and IQ. Hey, both sides win. Toronto's looking to rebuild. They got two young pieces that have starter level experience that they brought in. They just signed IQ to $175 million. So, and they got RJ already did his extension for $100-something million. So they got the boys locked up. They could start over. They got Scotty Barnes on $270 million. It works for them. It obviously worked for the Knicks because we know what OG did. What the record was when he came to the Knicks. So that was the type of deal Leon Rose does with respect to Mikal Bridges. it works for both sides. If the Nets are rebuilding, they just got 6 picks from the Knicks. Okay, they didn't. Some people say the Knicks fleeced them. No, he ain't fleecing with no 6 draft picks. Okay, so they got good compensation for Mikal Bridges. That's the type of deal that Don does. It's got to be fair on both sides, which is one of the reasons I found it's going to be difficult to deal with Danny Ainge. He's not fair. He wants to win every trade. Okay, so it can't be just both sides win. So that's why I am. If it does, it's possible that it happens. Maybe Danny Ainge gets religion and decides to wake up a little bit. I doubt it. So right now, when you're looking at Utah, you got Taylor Hendricks, 21. That's the guy that's the start of their future. Bryce Sensabaugh, you got him, 21. Isaiah Collier, 20. Darius Baisley, 24. Kenny Lofton Jr., 22. They got a bunch of young guys over there, but then they got a bunch of guys in their upper 20s also. You know, you got John Collins, 27. Colin Sexton, mid-20s, 26. Lauri Markkanen, 27. Jordan Clarkson, 32. So you got those guys too. Walter Kessler, you know, he would obviously fit. 23 years old. He would be a good backup to Mitchell Robinson, rim protector for sure. You know, what Tom Thibodeau needs in his defense. I don't know how far along he is in his development at the 5 spot. See, it's more than just the physical ability in the league. Like I said, there's 2 spots that's real hard to learn in the league. Point guard, 5. Those are 2 positions. And for Tom Thibodeau, you got to be on point. No pun intended. You got to be on point at the 5. Otherwise, you can't play. You got to understand the schemes. You got to understand where you're supposed to be. You got to understand where everybody is supposed to be on the defense when you're a 5 under Tom Thibodeau, which is why I still like Jericho Sims and Precious. But it's to me, it's one of them 2. It's one of them 2 teams. Now, somebody's going to yell Lauri Markkanen. I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Lauri Markkanen is $18 million. There's nothing the Knicks are going to give up for Lauri Markkanen. And he's a 4. He is not a 5. He's a 4. He's 7 foot, but he can't play the 5. He's not a rim protector, and he's not an adequate enough defender for Tom Thibodeau's type of defense. So it's not going to be Lauri Markkanen. I'm really looking at Walker Kessler. We're looking at Walker Kessler as the possibility there. The $3 million can be had with more money going to Utah than coming back to Utah. The Knicks stay within their budget. They would be giving up a Precious Achiuwa, which is a really good player, and getting something that they may feel fits what they need as a backup 5. Okay, so to me, it's looking like those 2 guys. I don't see anybody else out here that fits that criteria. You can get a win on all 3. Precious gets his money. Knicks win. The other team wins. I can't see any other team that fits those criteria. And you're taking in less than you're sending out. All of that has to be done. Okay, so I'm hoping they just sign Precious and get this, let's get this going. But I gotta be real. Here we are on July 8th. All of the smoke done clear. All of the dust done settled. And nothing's happened yet. And Precious is not, he's gonna be on somebody's roster playing. He's too good. Okay. So he's not gonna be sitting here for long. Okay. This is a really good player that is sitting out here. So something's happening. Okay, and I'm a little antsy waiting to see what ends up being the case because, right now, as far as, let me see, power forward centers, Claxton, Hartenstein, we know, Valanciunas, Bidazzi, Wagner, Cody Zeller, all these guys been signed, Andre Drummond, and to me, like Cody Zeller, Andre Drummond, Drew Eubanks. Precious is better than all of them, in my view. He's better than all of them. Xavier Tillman, Luka Garza. He's better than all of these guys. And these guys have been signed already. Thomas Bryant. All of these guys have been signed. And he's better than them. Bol was signed. I mean, come on. Dario Saric. Jalen Smith, I put Precious and Jalen Smith on about the same level. Okay. And Jalen Smith got signed $27 million over 3 years. So I don't know. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. We're going to find out soon. Precious is a valuable asset. He is precious. So no pun, well, pardon the pun, put it that way. But I don't know. Something's going on. So the Knicks are working on something. It's either re-sign Precious or sign and trade Precious. That's what we're dealing with right now. And I don't think there's anybody else involved. Again, it's got to be a situation where you send out more than you take in. You got to send out more than you take in. So you can't come with some situation where a guy like Laurie Marketing 18 million and Precious, you're dealing with 6-7 million. No, it's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to work. So you need to at least send out in that case, more than 18. The Knicks don't have that right now. They just don't. There's no player in their rotation they're trading right now. They're not trading. I know all of the knuckleheads out here talking about Julius Randle. They're not trading Julius Randle, especially not to the damn Utah. So, yeah. So we'll see what happens, but something's going on. And like I said, to me, it's got to be either Nick Richards or Walter Kessler. It's one of those guys. They're trying to work out, or Precious himself. So either the Knicks keep Precious, or they're trading him to Charlotte for Nick Richards, or they're trading him to Utah for Walker Kessler. It's one of those. I don't know which one, but the way I broke it down in my mind, I'm like, okay, you got to have all parameters have got to fit. So please don't start throwing names at me on my channel when you ain't done no research to know if it fits or not, or if the guy you're thinking about is available. These two players can be had for various reasons. So I don't know. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping at the end of the day, they just sign this young man and bring him back to New York. He has stated very clearly he loves playing in New York. He grew up, part of his life was in New York. He loves playing in New York. He loved the dream to play for the Knicks. He's got all that. I just hope they bring him back. But that's what we're dealing with right now. Something is up. I can smell it. I don't know what it is. But like I said, to me, those are the only scenarios. A sign and trade or a straight signing. It's going to be, if it's a sign and trade, you're going to send out more money you bring in. And actually, the sign and trade probably works in Precious's favor because he'll get playing time and he's going to get more money. Okay, the first year, I don't know what the length of the contract would be. Probably 3 years, I would say. But he's going to get more money up front if he's signed and traded than he would staying with the Knicks, is my thought. I think if he, like, say, if they sent him out for Walker Kessler, he might get $7 million, $6 million, $8 million. And then I've been saying $8 million for a while, but now you're bringing back $3 million. See, that works. But then again, Danny Ainge don't like that. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Now, Richards, $5 million. Okay, you might give Precious $8 million, bring back $5 million. You're still good. Okay? We'll have to see. But I have a feeling we're going to see this week. Like, the Knicks start their summer league Saturday. I think it's Saturday, right? Or the 14th or something. I think before the Knicks' first summer league game, we'll see. But until then, I know myself, I'm kind of holding my breath because I want Precious back. But we'll see. Y'all enjoy your Monday. So